Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Today we are getting into a bit of a special video. We do these now at the end of each deep dive as we transition into the post dive. We are going to kind of talk about how this deep dive went. Like, what did I think of the discography journey? What did I learn along the way? Process things about the channel and making a deep dive, and to like sit and thank you and enjoy and look back at some of the things that we did along the way. So while we do that, I'm going to put on a playlist of some of my favorite songs from the deep dive, in no particular order, just on random. We may not get through the playlist, but I figure we'll just have it there as we go along. So it's just gonna kind of be nice and in the background here. This one is not the start of the playlist. This is the start of the playlist. There we go. So yeah, this was a massive deep dive. This might be actually the longest deep dive we've had since I've started the channel. I'm not 100% sure if it's longest in terms of videos or not, but it was quite the endeavor to get through this massive discography, not just of the group as a whole, but as all of the individual solo artists. And to be fair, we're not even done yet, right? We've still got all of the post dive content where we've got covers, collabs, OSTs, more variety content, but the official album discography was massive and so varied, and they did so much more than I kind of expected and went in directions that I wouldn't have pinned down if you had told me what I had expected going in. Honestly, I was kind of expecting more on the bubblegum side of things than we ended up getting. There are some tracks that were definitely bubblegum pop, especially early on in their discography, but I was expecting a lot more of that going in. And that may have been my own bias, as they are the big girl group, right? In K-pop. And when you think of K-pop and you think of girl groups, you kind of think bubblegum pop. And they are so much more than that. And I shouldn't be that surprised, because that's kind of the same journey I went on with Twice, but it tells you, what our preconceived notions of things are, and that how kind of sticky those are if you're not careful about it. So I am trying going forward to just kind of throw out any expectations that I have going into a deep dive, because I'm always going to be surprised in some way or another. Going in, I kind of had an inkling of who my bias might end up being, because of our wonderful Discord community. And ever since we were doing Red Velvet, and I had been hearing things about how Taeyeon was the mother of Wendy, and that if Wendy was my bias there, that Taeyeon was most likely going to be my bias in Girls' Generation. And they were 100% correct. But I did not expect that Tiffany would be such a strong bias wrecker, and such a contender for a secondary bias. I was just her whole vibe and persona and sound, I really loved. And yeah, the whole dynamic of the group has been absolutely fantastic, even though I feel personality wise, I do know them better now. I'm still learning as we go through more of the variety content. And I think that's maybe one thing that I would change going forward. I think going forward, we started the variety shows later than we probably should have. Like, I think going forward, I'm going to start the variety shows immediately in a deep dive so that we can get a little further along and we get to learn who they are earlier. And, you know, I don't think that's a terrible thing for this one. We still got the chance to kind of plow through a lot of music early on and get a feel for their sound before we got into the variety. But I think it, in addition to the guide, it would have been nice to kind of have that reinforcement of their personality alongside of that. And that's on me. That's just a planning thing. But I think it is something that I've taken away from this, is that like I really want to learn more about who they are as people alongside the music, because it does help a lot to understand the feelings that come across in the music. So I really think that's going to be something I do going forward. Also, there's some things I want to talk to you guys about. As people who have enjoyed the deep dive or didn't enjoy the deep dive and have some feedback for me. I think one of the things that I may try and do going forward is to limit a song to have 2 lives, and if we want to do extra lives, that we keep it to those lives to the post dive. Just because we had several albums go like 4 parts, and like that's like 6 hours of a single album. And while I loved all of those performances, and I absolutely adore the work that the Discord community did to put this deep dive together, and like honestly guys, if you can give the so on in the comments and in Discord the major props, because like honestly I could not have put this together without them. I like literally could not. I went into every reaction blind with a list of preset playlists for me for every album and every release, and we've still got more that they've put together for us. So like the amount of work and like love that has gone into this deep dive from their side has been just so appreciated, and like it's kind of mind-blowing, right? Like they did a crazy amount to set this up, and they continued to keep up on top of it, like finding the things that got blocked and replacing them, switching things out as we couldn't find videos. Like this wasn't like a one-time list build, it was a constant monitoring as I was going through it. So like really, again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to those of you in the community who have helped contribute to it, and to all of you who have enjoyed and commented on the videos. I read them all. I may not always get to answer all of them, but I read every single comment, and I appreciate you so much. But yeah, I think going forward we may try to limit it to 2 and do some extra videos for lives in the post dives. Just because I think maybe the extra amount of lives made the videos quite long, and I get it, but like we'll see how that works out. Maybe you guys let me know. Do you prefer that, where we get as many lives as we can for each song in there, or do you think 2 might be a two in addition to any music videos, dance practices, or any special clips that we have. So it's not just like 2 videos period, it's like 2 live performances. But yeah, I think, you know, it's a good time to reflect and see what worked, what went a little out of the range that I thought, and what I liked and what I didn't like. As far as didn't like in the deep dive, I don't think I really had any tracks in the song that I in the discography that I actively disliked that much. There were a few that I would say aren't for me in terms of like musical taste, but I don't think there were any tracks that I thought were outright bad in the discography, which in something this massive is wild. I think when they got into some really experimental stuff, or some of the solo music, that they went into some genres where I'm not a huge fan of those genres. You know, like you could still tell that they were well put together songs, and that they were just aiming at a different target audience than me. So yeah, it was really cool. I think I've found not just a group in this group that like I will consistently listen to going forward, but also several solo artists that I am just glued to. I know in a couple of days we'll have Tiffany's album, and we will be reacting to that as it drops. Hopefully, if it's in mostly English, we can do it the day or the day after that it comes out, and fit that into the schedule, either this week or the very start of next week. But like Tiffany, Taeyeon, especially Taeyeon, Yuri surprised the hell out of me. Sooyoung surprised the hell out of me. Yuna has a gorgeous warm hug of a vocal. Jessica's got a really nice clean pop vocal. Soyoon had so much kind of like sass and energy to her, and this big kind of sound, big vocalist kind of sound. So yeah, I mean, like, it's not just that we have a 9-member group who performed and made all these albums together, and we got 9 soloists out of it too. You know, some of them a lot more prolific than others, but we did get solo music from everybody. Yeah. So, why are you not going to our next song playlist? Spotify was having a fit. Anyway, we got into like the soloists and a whole bunch of different tracks from everybody. We got to do all of that within the deep dive, and I think that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this, was that it didn't feel like one deep dive. It felt like 5 or 6, just because Taeyeon's discography is so huge, Hyoyeon's discography is so huge. All the other Tiffany's discography is quite large for her as well, and Jessica. You know, like, we had like several members with multiple albums, and you add that to the already very large discography of Girls' Generation as a whole, and it just felt like we got all this really nice variety and different deep dives kind of all combined into one. So like, I really enjoyed the variety of this deep dive plot, and it kind of allowed you to get a sense of individual members' personalities a little bit, and what they feel like their genres of music are. And like, we even got to see some specialized like variety content or reality content for each members. Like, we saw Yuna in Hyori's B&B season 2 over on Patreon. We got to watch That like really endeared me to Yuna as a member. Like I love Yuna. She's such a sweetheart, such a kind person, and like it was so nice to get to know her a little bit through that show. Um, and like kind of see how she interacts with everything. And then to hear her songs in the deep dive and like see how her personality kind of matches up with her voice and the songs that she makes. Lovely. And I apologize if this is all very like rambly and off the cuff. I didn't script any of this, so I'm just kind of like spewing out my thoughts of the deep dive as we go. So feel free to, you know, tell me, hey Silver, you're doing too much, or you're maybe next time we organize this a little better. But you speaking of, you probably know that this deep dive is successful because I've got Taeyeon merch as a mug and have been drinking it on camera for the last several months. I don't buy a ton of merch. Like I buy light sticks as I go, and occasionally I'll buy something that I find very cute. But that one, and specifically the sauna vlog that we saw from Taeyeon, made me go, yeah, oh yeah, we're buying that. We're definitely buying that. So I don't know, man. They quickly elevated themselves to one of my favorite groups as we got in. And there are some songs in here that I listen to constantly. I don't know if we'll get to it in the playlist or not, but like Green Light off the Lionheart album, that song is so good. And honestly, the B-sides are kind of where it's at. He says, as we're playing Yellow Light from Tiffany, which is also a B-side. But yeah, I think one of the things that I really enjoy about these deep dives is that we get to hear all of the B-sides. Is that like I've noticed that if you don't listen to the full album and you just go into the title tracks, like you're missing the best music. Sometimes even the best live performances and the best choreo. The B-sides are where it's at, man. And the title tracks are often good, but they're often marketed and pushed towards the most broad audience, right? And so they're built to be popular, and oftentimes they're very good at it. But like to me, where the interesting stuff really was the B-sides. Like even in Into the New World, which I love, my favorite track off of that release was Beginning. And some of the live performances of Beginning, like I think were just fantastic. So like it just kind of confirmed my feeling. Like on Forever One, I love Lucky Like That. Like that made me cry, but that's also a B-side. Like that's not the main track, which was Forever One. And then Villain, you know, that's another one on that album that I was like, oh my god, that's so crazy good and so experimental. And it's just a B-side. So like I think one of the things that I really enjoy about doing these deep dives is that we just get to hear all of that. We don't miss out. I feel like you could really easily just do the title tracks and speed through a ton of groups, get to know, you know, the highlights of what each group is doing, but you're missing out on so much gold that I just can't do it to myself. So I'm definitely never giving that up. You are. Yeah. I don't know. I've got so much going on in my head around this group and like what we did. I think some of the crazy stuff in the variety shows is just like so telling to the old school style of variety, and like we see the change as we watch things from newer groups and what they were on compared to what Girls' Generation had to go through with Girls Go to School and School of Rock and things like that, and then going all the way through to some of the cooler stuff. I still think out of the variety series that we've seen so far, I think Factory Girl is my favorite, with Cheer Up being my second favorite. I really think they were both so wholesome and nice, and like you got to see a little bit about everybody and you got to see them doing some different stuff. So I think like those variety shows were fantastic, but like if you go back to School of Rock and like some of the pranks that the hidden camera pranks that were played on them in there, that I was like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. It's a little iffy. And it's just like, oh wow, okay, so that's what it used to be like on variety TV way back in the day. If I let you in here on a little sneak peek, we've got a lot of variety here, and I'd say we're here. We've done this so far. We've got a lot of clips to get through. So if you're thinking that we're done with content, variety content, music content, whatever, from Girls' Generation, you would be dead wrong. It is just going to transition into a weekly slot. That's the thing too, is like it's not even really a weekly slot, because we're probably going to have a slot for Girls' Generation variety and a slot for the music releases for them in the post dive. So it'll probably be bi-weekly, at least for a while, until some of the variety may end up on Patreon, but depending on, you know, copyrights and all that sort of stuff, because Hello Baby got surprisingly mega blocked into the sun for some reason. It is what it is. But like the fact is that we just have so much content around them, and like I don't know if I'll ever get through all of the content for Girls' Generation. Kind of like BTS, right? Where like there's just so much of it. We're gonna get to as much of it as we can, and we'll just keep watching it, but like there is so much on the and then I know we've got 2 releases this year and maybe another release next year in new music, so like we're crossing our fingers on that stuff too. So Girls' Generation ain't going nowhere on the channel. But yeah, I think I just really wanted to take this time to talk to you about how I felt about this deep dive, how grateful I was for everybody for joining in and sharing this with me. And I really, really hope that you guys stick around to see where we go next with Girls' Generation. And if you're so inclined to check out the new deep dive when we start that, I think that would be lovely too, because it's always fun to discover new music, especially if we get to discover it together. But I really just wanted to say thank you, love you. Till next time, bye.